The contact. The TSV Avalon hung in space like a metallic mountain, its hull gleaming under the light of unfamiliar stars. At 7 kilometers from bow to stern, the Titan-class vessel represented humanity's ultimate achievement in space engineering, a self-sufficient city in space built for deep exploration. The ship housed over 12,000 souls, scientists, military personnel, engineers, and their families, all venturing farther from Earth than any humans before them. On the command deck, Captain Eliza Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the main view screen with quiet intensity. At 42, Chen had earned her command through 20 years of exemplary service in the Terran space fleet. The small scar along her jawline and the slight stiffness in her left shoulder were testaments to missions where she put her crew's safety above her own. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but carrying the unmistakable note of authority that had earned her both respect and loyalty. Commander Jackson Reeves, her XO, looked up from his station. With dark skin contrasting against the stark white of his uniform and intelligent eyes that missed nothing, Reeves had been Chen's right hand for 5 years. "All systems nominal, Captain. We've completed our survey of the outer planets. No signs of advanced civilization, but plenty of resources worth mining someday." Chen nodded. This mission was primarily exploratory, finding new worlds suitable for human expansion or resource extraction. Earth was crowded, and despite colonies on Mars and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, humanity needed room to grow. "Dr. Lakshmi, anything interesting from your department?" Chen asked the ship's chief scientist. Dr. Indira Lakshmi looked up from her console, tucking a strand of silver-streaked black hair behind her ear. "Actually, yes. We're detecting an unusual energy signature from the 4th planet. It doesn't match any natural phenomenon in our database." Chen raised an eyebrow. "Artificial?" "Possibly," Lakshmi replied. "The pattern has mathematical precision that suggests intelligence." This was unexpected. Initial scans had shown no evidence of technology in this system. How did we miss this before? "It only activated about 20 minutes ago," Lakshmi explained, almost as if it turned on in response to our presence. Chen considered this information. First contact protocols were clear: observe from a distance, attempt non-intrusive communication, and avoid any action that might appear threatening. But those protocols assumed roughly equal technological capabilities. The Avalon was designed to intimidate, massive, heavily armed, and virtually impregnable. Not the ideal vessel for a friendly greeting. "Helm, take us into a high orbit around the 4th planet. Tactical, passive scans only. Let's get a better look without appearing aggressive." As the Avalon approached the planet, a world of swirling blue-green clouds over dark continents, the energy signature grew stronger. "Captain," Communications Officer Maya Wong called out, her fingers dancing across her console. "We're receiving a transmission. It's structured data, definitely artificial. Can we decode it?" "Working on it. The universal translator is finding patterns, but it'll take time." Chen nodded. "Put it through the speakers. Let's hear what we're dealing with." A series of melodic tones filled the bridge, rising and falling in complex patterns. It was beautiful, almost like music, but with a precision that suggested language. "Recording and analyzing," Wong confirmed. "The AI is starting to identify linguistic structures." The bridge crew waited in tense silence. This was the moment every explorer dreamed of: first contact with an alien intelligence. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system, but had yet to encounter another sentient species. After 10 minutes of processing, the AI began translating fragments. "Unknown vessel. Identify. Purpose. Approach with caution." "They're cautious," Reeves observed. "That's promising. Means they're rational." "Or they're afraid," Chen countered. "Respond with standard greeting package. Mathematical sequences, basic scientific constants, and simple visuals explaining our peaceful intent." As they waited for a response, Sensors detected movement from the planet's surface. Captain, multiple small craft launching from the surface. Tactical Officer Lieutenant Wei reported. 20. No, 30 vessels. Formation suggests military organization. Defensive posture only, Chen ordered firmly. No active targeting. Shield status. Shields at full strength, but inactive, Wei confirmed. The alien vessels approached cautiously. They were elegant, silvery crafts with organic curves that suggested advanced design principles beyond human engineering. But they were small, each no more than 100 meters in length. Compared to the Avalon, they were like minnows approaching a whale. We're receiving clearer transmission, Wang announced. Visual data incoming. The main screen shifted to show an alien being. It had a slender, almost delicate frame with 4 limbs and iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with its movements. Large, multifaceted eyes dominated a narrow face, and it appeared to breathe through gill-like structures along its neck. Translation improving, Wang said. They call themselves the Valari. This one is their equivalent of an admiral or commander. The alien spoke, its voice musical but firm. The translator converted its speech with only slight delays. Unknown vessel, you have entered Valari space uninvited. Your craft is of unprecedented size and power. Explain your presence and intentions immediately. Chen stepped forward. I am Captain Eliza Chen of the Terran space vessel Avalon. We are explorers from a planet called Earth, seeking knowledge and peaceful contact with other intelligent species. We apologize for our uninvited entry into your territory. We were unaware this system was claimed. The Valari commander's skin shifted to deeper blues and purples. Your vessel's size suggests warfare capabilities beyond anything in our experience. Are you invaders? No, Chen replied firmly. The Avalon is large because it carries everything we need for long-term exploration far from our home. We have defensive capabilities, yes, but our mission is peaceful. The alien skin rippled with patterns that the translator couldn't interpret. You will remain in your current position while we verify your claims. Any movement will be considered hostile. The communication ended abruptly. They're scared of us, Reeves said quietly. Chen nodded. Wouldn't you be? Imagine if something 7 kilometers long suddenly appeared in Earth orbit. Their vessels are maintaining distance, Wei reported. No weapons signatures detected, but they've positioned themselves to monitor us from all angles. Dr. Lakshmi approached the captain. Their technology is impressive. Those ships exhibit propulsion characteristics well beyond our capabilities. But what? Chen prompted. The energy output is surprisingly efficient, clean, no waste radiation. They're technologically superior to us in many ways. Chen considered this information. Yet they're clearly intimidated by our size. Size isn't everything, Chief Engineer Kazuo Tanaka interjected from his station. But mass and resource allocation matter. Their ships are elegant, but I bet they're lightly armed. Perhaps their technological path emphasized efficiency over brute force. The standoff continued for hours. The Valari vessels maintained their positions, never approaching too close, but never withdrawing. Occasionally, they transmitted requests for information about human biology, technology, and social structures, which Chen authorized Dr. Lakshmi to answer within security parameters. They're studying us, Lakshmi observed. Their questions are sophisticated, focused on our environmental adaptations, technological evolution, even our art and music. What are they looking for? Chen wondered aloud. I believe they're trying to determine if we're a threat, Lakshmi replied. Not just militarily, but culturally and ecologically. 18 hours into the standoff, sensors detected a new energy signature, massive and approaching rapidly from the system's edge. Captain, Wei called out, tension evident in his voice. Large object entering the system at high velocity. Energy signature doesn't match Valari technology. The Valari fleet suddenly broke formation, half the vessels accelerating toward the new arrival, while the rest maintained their positions around the Avalon. "We're receiving an urgent transmission from the Valari commander," Wam reported. The alien appeared on screen again, its skin now pale and pulsing rapidly. "Terran vessel, our space is being invaded by a hostile species we call the Draxid. They are predators who consume all in their path. We recommend you withdraw immediately for your own safety." Chen exchanged glances with Reeves. "They're warning us, not ordering us to leave, but recommending it." "The Valari fleet is outnumbered," Wei observed, studying his tactical display. "Sensors indicate the incoming Draxid vessel is nearly 2 kilometers in length, heavily armed. The Valari don't stand a chance." Chen straightened her uniform jacket. "Hail the Valari commander." When the alien appeared again, Chen spoke clearly and confidently. "Commander, we detect the threat approaching your people. The Avalon was built to protect as well as explore. We offer our assistance." The Valari's skin flashed with rapid color changes. "You would intervene in a conflict not your own." "That's what explorers do," Chen replied simply. "We help where we can." For a moment, the alien was silent, its multifaceted eyes studying Chen intently. Then it made a gesture that seemed like resignation or acceptance. "Your assistance would be appreciated, Captain Chen. But understand that the Draxid are unlike any enemy you have faced. They consume not just resources but entire biospheres. They see other sentient life as nothing more than prey." Chen nodded grimly. "Understood. Please share your tactical data and coordinate with my officers. Let's show these Draxid that preying on others isn't as easy as they thought." As the Avalon's massive engines powered up and the ship moved to defensive position, Chen couldn't help but reflect on the irony. They had come seeking peaceful first contact, only to find themselves preparing for battle alongside aliens they barely knew against a threat they didn't understand. But if humanity was going to announce its presence to the galaxy, perhaps this was the perfect way to do it. Not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Alliance. The Draxid ship emerged from faster-than-light travel like a nightmare-given form. All angles and protruding weapons arrays, its hull a mottled combination of biological and mechanical components. Unlike the elegant Valari vessels or the utilitarian design of the Avalon, the Draxid craft seemed to have grown rather than been built, with an unsettling asymmetry that defied human engineering principles. "That thing is alive," Dr. Lakshmi whispered, staring at the sensor readings. "At least partially. Its hull contains organic components that appear to regenerate." "Lovely," Chen muttered. Tactical analysis. Lieutenant Wei studied his console, face grim. Heavy energy weapons, unknown type. Their shields operate on different principles than ours. They appear to absorb energy rather than deflect it. And they're launching smaller craft, hundreds of them. On the main view screen, they watched as swarms of drone-like vessels poured from the Draxid ship, each perhaps 20 meters long with curved, claw-like appendages at their front. The Valari defense fleet moved to intercept, their weapons firing brilliant beams of coherent light. Where the beams struck Draxid vessels, the organic hulls blackened and burned. But for each drone destroyed, 3 more took its place. The larger Draxid ship remained stationary, directing the assault. "They're coordinating like insects," Reeves observed. "A hive mind." "Possibly," Lakshmi agreed. "The smaller vessels show limited independent action, but perfect collective coordination." Chen activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. Weapon systems online. Shields to maximum." Throughout the Avalon, 12,000 humans prepared for humanity's first interstellar battle. Families moved to secure central areas. Science teams converted to emergency medical personnel, and weapon stations powered up technologies that had never been tested in actual combat. "The Valari are taking heavy losses," Wei reported. "Their weapons are effective but limited in range and power. Move us between the Draxid and the planet," Chen ordered. "Active targeting on the drone swarms. Fire when ready." The Avalon's massive engines flared as the titanic vessel positioned itself as a shield for the Valari homeworld. Its size, initially a cause for alarm among the Valari, now became their greatest hope. "Valari commander is hailing us," Wang announced. The alien appeared on screen, its skin pale with stress, patches of it darkened as if injured. "Captain Chen, we appreciate your intervention, but the Draxid will not be deterred. They have consumed 3 of our colony worlds already. Their hunger is endless. So is human stubbornness," Chen replied with a tight smile. "We've synchronized our targeting systems with your fleet's movements. Focus on protecting your damaged vessels while we deal with the main swarm." The Avalon's weapons systems activated for the first time outside of testing. Designed primarily for asteroid defense and theoretical space combat, they had never faced an actual enemy. Particle beams lanced out, cutting through dozens of Draxid drones with each sweep. Point defense turrets tracked and eliminated others with automated precision. "The swarm is changing formation," Wei warned. "They're adapting to our attack pattern." Chen nodded. "Switch to random targeting protocols. Don't give them patterns to analyze." For several minutes, the battle proceeded in their favor. The Avalon's superior firepower decimated the drone swarms, while the Valari fleet, emboldened by human support, pressed forward with renewed coordination. Then everything changed. Energy spike from the main Draxid vessel. Wei shouted. "There!" A massive pulse erupted from the alien ship, washing over the battlefield. Throughout the Avalon, systems flickered and reset. "EMP variant," Chief Engineer Tanaka reported, his fingers flying over his console. "But selective, targeting command and control systems. Main power holding but weapons targeting is offline. Restoring from secure backups now." Chen gripped the arms of her command chair. "Time to restoration. 3 minutes minimum," Tanaka replied grimly. "We don't have 3 minutes," Reeves said, pointing to the view screen where the Draxid drones, apparently immune to the pulse, had resumed their attack with even greater intensity. The Valari ships, hit harder by the pulse, drifted helplessly. "Engineering," Chen called out. "We need options." Tanaka's voice came back strained. "Captain, the Avalon's agricultural domes, their electromagnetic field generators are on separate systems. They weren't affected by the pulse. How does that help us? Those fields are designed to stimulate plant growth, but if we reconfigure them and overload the emitters, we could create a massive electromagnetic wave of our own. Not powerful enough to damage the Draxid, but possibly enough to disrupt their coordination temporarily." Chen didn't hesitate. "Do it, and divert emergency power to shields. If we can't fight, we can at least take a beating." As Tanaka's team worked on their improvised weapon, the Draxid drones swarmed around the Avalon, their claw-like appendages tearing at the ship's hull. Shields flared and held, but the constant attacks were draining power at an alarming rate. "Valari vessels are completely disabled," Wei reported. "The Draxid are ignoring them for now, concentrating on us." "They recognize the greater threat," Chen said. "Tanaka, status." "Ready, Captain, but there's a problem. The emitters need to be manually aligned from outside the ship. The pulse knocked out our remote control systems." Chen's jaw tightened. "Understood. Prepare an EVA team." Reeves stepped closer. "Captain, that's a suicide mission. Those drones will tear apart anyone who goes outside." "I'm aware, Commander," Chen replied quietly. "Ask for volunteers only." To everyone's surprise, it was Dr. Lakshmi who spoke up. "Captain, I have an alternative. The Valari communication systems appear to operate on different principles than ours. They weren't affected by the pulse. If we can transmit our field modulation patterns to their vessels, they might be able to generate a similar effect from their still-functioning systems. Can we communicate with them?" "Our systems are compromised," Chen pointed out. Lakshmi smiled slightly. "The old-fashioned way. Morse code using manual control of our external navigation lights. Their sensors can detect that." Chen nodded. "Do it. For the next crucial minutes, as Draxid drones continued their relentless assault, Lakshmi transmitted complex scientific data using nothing more sophisticated than blinking lights. The Valari, proving their intellectual prowess, understood and responded. "They've got it," Lakshmi announced. "They're implementing the modifications now." What happened next surprised even the humans who had proposed the plan. Rather than simply disrupting the Draxid coordination, the combined electromagnetic fields created by the Valari ships interacted with the unique biological components of the Draxid drones. The smaller vessels began to twitch and spin erratically, their coordinated attack dissolving into chaos. "It's working better than expected," Tanaka observed with surprise. "The Draxid biology is responding to the field frequencies. It's like they're experiencing extreme disorientation." "Weapons back online," Wei announced. "Target the main vessel," Chen ordered. All batteries. The Avalon's weapons systems, now restored, focused their full power on the Draxid mothership. Particle beams and plasma torpedoes struck with devastating effect, penetrating the temporarily weakened shields and tearing into the organic hull beneath. The Valari fleet, recovering faster than expected, joined the counterattack. Their precision weapons targeted the wounds opened by the Avalon's heavier firepower, striking with surgical accuracy. Under the combined assault, the Draxid mothership began to break apart, huge sections of its biomechanical hull tearing away. The remaining drones, cut off from their controlling intelligence, went dormant or self-destructed. When the battle ended, the Valari commander requested to come aboard the Avalon. Chen welcomed the alien delegation to the ship's main conference room, where the contrast between species became even more apparent. The Valari were physically delicate, standing barely 5 feet tall, their luminescent skin shifting through colors that hinted at their emotional states. "You saved our world," the commander said simply, its multifaceted eyes studying Chen and her officers. "When we first detected your vessel, we feared a new predator had entered our space. Instead, we found protectors." Chen inclined her head respectfully. "We're explorers first, but we couldn't stand by while sentient life was threatened. That's not humanity's way." The Valari made a gesture that the translator interpreted as profound respect. "Your species is unexpected. You build ships of immense size, arm them heavily, yet use them for exploration and protection rather than conquest. Your technology is less advanced than ours in many ways, yet you found solutions we could not. Different evolutionary paths lead to different strengths," Dr. Lakshmi suggested. "Your technology emphasizes elegance and efficiency. Ours reflects our history of overcoming challenges through persistence and sometimes brute force. A powerful combination," the Valari commander observed. "The Draxid have plagued our worlds for generations. We could not defeat them alone, despite our technological advantages. Your human approach provided what we lacked." Chen leaned forward. "Perhaps that's the greatest discovery of our mission. Not that alien life exists, but that different life forms can complement each other's strengths and compensate for weaknesses." "An alliance," the Valari suggested, its skin shifting to hopeful blues and greens. "A beginning," Chen agreed with a smile. "And isn't that what exploration is all about?" As the Avalon's repairs progressed, humans and Valari worked side by side, each learning from the other. Scientists exchanged knowledge, engineers compared techniques, and cultural specialists began the complex task of building understanding between such different species. In Earth's history, first contact between different cultures had often led to disaster for the less technologically advanced. But here, among the stars, humanity had found a different path, entering the galactic community not as conquerors or victims, but as partners. The Avalon, built to project human power into the unknown,